Good evening, everybody. It is 109 degrees right now, extremely hot, and this is California. Well, Southern California. But anyways, before we get underway, I would just like to take a couple seconds, maybe a minute every time to explain how the channel will be functioning from now on. So pretty much, to cut it short, there will be 4 videos released once a month, and it will be about a certain topic, pretty much what I'll be researching about, and just displaying the content and just giving my overall opinion, analysis, and interpretation. And so that's pretty much how I go for the first week of the month. Um, I will provide you 2 videos of content, probably one during the week and then one during the weekend. And then after that week, I will go on break to do the next other content, which would be the one during the second half of the month. And then after that week, I'll go on a break. So pretty much, there will be a break in between whenever videos are released. So that is the schedule. But anyways, since that's out of the way, let's get to the main thing because it's really hot here. Um, the Crito. The Crito is one of the 4 dialogues composed, which provide us an account of the final days of Socrates, leading to his untimely execution through the hemlock poison. The hemlock poison is probably one of the more humane ways to die in the ancient world. If I were to compare it to anything, it would probably be the modern equivalent of the lethal injection, as the person just drinks it and, of course, the poison does its work and it kills you. Um, this dialogue in particular is short and revolves around justice and duty. Part of a series of dialogues, it continues the notion left on the apology to address the controversial question: can one reconcile the relationship between individual and state? Uh, Socrates, in this um, circumstances, is the individual and the state is Athens, of course, as is she that is responsible for the wrongs done against him. As the name for the dialogues, um, I never really thought much about the name of the dialogue since, well, since we went over what the meaning of the apology was for the apology. Um, the Roman politician Cicero, there's an outside source. It's not really um, it's pretty much his interpretation, and it's not really valid. But anyways, I thought it would be like ideal to mention it. But anyways, as you know, Crito is the name of the dialogue and one of the characters in this dialogue. So Cicero here um, interprets that the name of dialogue is meant to like the word Crito is meant to mean citizens that are obliged to serve the state out of gratitude. But it's just to us in the modern age, I feel like not a lot of people are like that. Like they could care less. But in the ancients, if you live somewhere, you will pretty much have extreme loyalty and obliged to serve your state because that's just what you do. You have the power to vote. You have you can make you could take on public life, office, and it's your responsibility to have this loyalty and obey your state out of gratitude because you're choosing to live there, which will be something we will cover in a few minutes. But anyways, um, it may as well be the case, as I feel like these characters and Plato's dialogues they serve as anchors of the dialogue. Like if you read the Socratic dialogue, that you would realize that every character here serves as a part of a machine here that's meant to like serve an ideal function of the dialogue. Like, eventually, their character will lead to something which is the end goal of the product, which Plato is trying to display here. And he's trying to display here that the justice and duty in this theme of the dialogue, because, for one, um, justice is an important key factor. But the duty part in this dialogue is how if you are living in a certain place, you have a duty to follow their laws and their customs and all of that. The social contract, pretty much. But anyway, The setting of the dialogue takes place in Socrates' prison cell because he's awaiting execution, and the reason he's awaiting execution for so long is because there's a festival going on, a religious festival, and during that time there's no execution of some sort. It's pretty much everybody, like, activities are paused and then um, back to normal pretty much. It's basically a holiday. And he is visited by his friend Crito, who wants to help Socrates escape and go into exile. And Socrates hears him out but declines the offer. Instead, he will await his sentence. And Crito, realizing that Socrates won't really um, listen to his idea of escaping, he decides to do what anyone would do in this instance and present a couple of arguments to Socrates, trying to persuade him. And this leads us on to our next segment, the argument of Crito and the answers of Socrates to his arguments. So, in an attempt to persuade his friend, Crito presents two attempts, two arguments. I mean, if he stays, number one being, if he stays in this prison cell, Socrates will be aiding his enemies and wronging himself unjustly, and his actions will be unjust of himself. And Socrates also, for the second question, would be abandoning his children and leaving them without a father. For the most part, the second question really isn't relevant, but if I have time, I will try to give my interpretation of this because I did not really write about this part of the question. So, pretty much in response to the first question, Socrates claims that the public opinion isn't of any concern. Crito should not worry how his reputation or the reputation of others is held by the general public, as long as they concern themselves by behaving well. And it is a good notion because why should you really pay any mind to the public opinion as long as you yourself are behaving justly and in a moral manner? You have no really need to worry about what the public opinion thinks of you, because why would you? And this essentially concludes the second portion of the first question, which leads to the next question. Would it be just for Socrates to attempt an escape? If it is just, Socrates says, he will go with Crito. If not, he will remain in his cell and face his sentence, which is the death sentence. Um, to display that this escape will be unjust, he mentions the law of Athens. In no way the laws of Athens are an entity, and to break one law would be to break them all, and in doing so, Socrates would be in the wrong. And so, pretty much, no matter what, even if he is being held guilty in this prison cell, he will be unjust to escape it. Even though he is being done the wrong, he is still breaking laws. And if anybody of you are um, familiar with the Roussel, the man behind the social contract theory, pretty sure if you went to college or I'm pretty sure at the high school level it's taught. The social contract theory is based pretty much on a theory that people live in society in accordance with whatever moral, political forms of behavior that are acceptable. And that is pretty much the social contract theory. And this is what Socrates is getting into. Socrates compares the citizens and the law of Athens to the dynamic of a parent and child. The analogy is self explanatory. If one is to go against the laws, it would be like striking a parent. And do you want to strike your parent? No, because you should not. You should be obedient to your parent at all costs. So what Socrates is saying here is you have to be obedient to your state no matter what. Because to go against them is striking them, your parent, the one who has given you everything, the one who has given you your most happiest moments in life. Socrates himself is 70 years old, and Athens has given him 70 years of pleasure and happiness because he has chosen to live in their state. And instead of trying to break the laws, Socrates should persuade the laws to let him go, because that is the right thing to do. By living in Athens, Socrates is supporting the laws and is willingly following them. He should be according to them as he chose to be in this city, and therefore is abiding by his contract that he has with Athens. That's why he refuses to stay because he has a responsibility to act. It's just like we have a responsibility to whatever country we live in or the state we live in. Because we choose to be here, we have to follow their rules, um, their politics, and all of that. Because that just comes with the part of living there. Escaping from the prison will violate the social contract, and he has followed it for 70 years. Why would he break it now? And if he did escape, his name would be associated with outlaws, and he wouldn't be welcome in any civilized country or state for the rest of his life because he chose to break his contract he had with his city. And by the time he dies, he will be judged for his unlawful actions in the underworld for behaving unjustly against his state. The underworld would really just be called Hades. Hades is the Greek god of death, so yeah. But anyways, the conclusion of Crito here. The Crito is one of the shortest Socratic dialogues, and probably, in my opinion, the simplest one to understand. If anybody is to do harm unjustly, it is inadequate to reply by causing harm unjustly. There is no excuse to do harm to others because when one dies, we will be judged for our unlawful actions. Um, that is up to whatever religion you are um, associated with. In Socrates' instance, he's associated with the Greek religion, so that would be Hades. And if you're associated with Christianity, that would be, you know, Satan. And I'm not sure about the other Eastern religions because I am a Westerner. But anyways, the choice to live somewhere is completely up to the person, as he or she is autonomous in their decision to live wherever they please. And if they choose to settle there, they are endorsing the legislation or the decisions that the area makes. Settling there also means that the person is willingly following the laws of said place. With this in mind, the person has a contract with this place and whatever comes with it. The laws, politics, the morals, and overall the society norms. And that's pretty much the conclusion here for the Credo. It's a really simple dialogue, you understand? Probably one of the more um, better of these little this these four dialogues composing of Socrates' final days. We are running low on time and it is pretty hot in here. Thank you for watching this video and like always, like and subscribe. Peace out.